Hey everybody, this is So Many Sequels. I'm Josh.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
Look at this. The whole
I'd actually
cast,
forgotten where Andrew went in the order.
the whole squad. Andrew's his own thing. He goes wherever in the order he wants.
Yeah.
Where he's Shakira.
Shakira.
Yeah.
Wherever and whenever.
Oh, I see. I
don't like it, but I get it now.
Well, we're meant to be together.
Sometimes the references just don't hit for me.
Hips
It
don't.
should have. That's a reference I would make, though.
Yeah.
We're off with a banger, boys.
I like it. I like starting off with Shakira.
See what you do, Andrew. You disrupt the flow.
We're talking about
disruptor.
We're talking about Brad Pitt all month, right?
That's
still
right.
a thing. We're still talking about Brad Pitt. Pick a Pit. August. Bye.
Garrett disappeared for a second for the video, for the audio listeners, but we are talking about Pick a Pit. We've been watching Brad Pitt movies all August in celebration of Bullet Train.
Yeah.
Now we're up to a new movie of his.
Andrew, you haven't seen Bullet Train, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Were you on that episode?
With you guys.
He was with us.
I'm old. I don't remember anything.
I was literally sitting next to you.
No, that's a lie. I don't believe that.
Josh's gray matter is fading.
It's smoother than it used to be. Okay, well, never mind then. So yeah, we're doing Pick a Pit. We are on our fourth pick of the month, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Fourth pick of the month, World War Z is what we're talking about today. This was Garrett's pick, so why don't you kick us off by explaining why was this your pick and what did you think?
You know, I struggled with my pick. I think I said last week. I bounced around from movie to movie. I think it was originally Interview with a Vampire, and then Burn After Reading, I think, and then something else, and then this, and then back to something else, and then this. And I think the movies that we have chose really influenced this. This is one that I really enjoy. But in this one, we've seen a different kind of Brad Pitt than what we have. He's more controlled. He has been a little chaotic in most of the movies that we've seen to some extent, whether it be over the top, whether it be really in your face, just the over the top personality. He's just a regular dude with like more, power, like government background that most people have. You don't really get into that. You get just enough. I think this movie still, for me, really holds up. I think that it is very entertaining. It's a little touch long. The story itself is kind of wobbly, but the action surrounding it and the chaoticness and the viciousness of the zombies and the way that it spreads and the build to each individual moment really just intrigues me throughout the whole thing. Like I said, it's just a touch long, and I can see how it could be like a repetitive type thing. But for me, it was just like from the moment that dump truck hits, it's just action packed from there.
Okay. Next.
What do you think, Andrew? You're the guest this week.
Well, it was pretty good. I would say it still holds up a little bit. It's got there are some little things that I would say that I don't know are just they've always bugged me ever since I saw it. I always thought the pacing was kind of off, like because I know it's trying to move through it pretty quick, but I mean whenever you get past that, I would say that that's probably like the one peeve I have on this movie. It's pretty good for what it is. I've never read the book. But yeah, that's what I would say. This is one movie I keep coming back to.
What did you think of Brad Pitt in it specifically?
I thought he was good in it. I thought he was a good lead. I thought he was I really would like to know a little bit more about his job, because he keeps saying, I'm never going to do this again. What exactly was it? Like, we know he worked for the UN. So we keep getting hints of it, but I don't think we ever really know what he does.
I have a fun theory about that because after this rewatch, I am 100% convinced that this is the prequel to Bullet Train. In this movie, he got pulled into something. He was out having a family life. Then he got pulled into something, went through some crazy shit. Then he was like, I'm done. Finish me off, I'm done. And then in Bullet Train, he's like, all right, I've recovered. I'm feeling a lot better from this traumatic event. I've gone through my therapy sessions, which I'm going to keep bringing up in this train as I go through this easy mission that turns out to be crazy. That is my new belief.
After he's done poisoning the world.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. We will be getting into spoilers, I assume, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
This movie's fairly
Spoil this one.
All right. Dave.
Well, I'm gonna say that I think this was a fine movie. I think it was executed okay. Like, it wasn't bad, but for me, it didn't really do anything that really, to me, elevated the elements, the concept of a zombie movie. It feels like it wants to be like the biggest zombie movie that's ever happened, but it just kind of feels like everything that happens feels like pretty formulaic to me. And that's even given that, like, they take it. I mean, we have seen a lot of zombie movies try to sort of play with the genre, reinvent it. We've seen comedy. We've seen things like Train to Busan. We've seen things where they've tried to change the overall dynamic of it so that it's a different type of movie. This is a very serious, very realistic, very straightforward take on a zombie movie. And so it just felt it kind of felt safe in a lot of ways. It didn't feel like it really went above and beyond anything that I would have expected. That said, I think that they did a really good job of having Brad Pitt's character, Jerry, put together subtle clues in his head to figure out a strategy to win. Like, these things are happening in the background. Some of them are happening in front of you, but you don't know the full context yet. And he puts it all together in the end. I think that's a good element. I think that from a pacing standpoint, it is a little strange because it feels like very like go, 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 go. And then, like, once he gets to Korea, things kind of like freeze for a moment to get some information. And then it's like off to this place and go, go, go again. But I just felt like it didn't really elevate anything for me. And that's a lot of pressure to put on a movie. That's a big expectation to put on a film. But when you're working within a genre has a lot of material, I feel like you have to bring something new to the table, because otherwise you're just going to blend in. Yeah. I thought that some of the visual effects have not aged well. The practical effects of the zombies look great. Some of the bigger shots of zombies, they look like rubber. And maybe I don't think that's that much of a limitation of the time. I think that's probably just, they just kind of have like video game crowd physics where they're just falling all over each other. And so that's like a minor complaint of mine. I usually don't complain about visual effects. It was just something that stood out to me as I watched tonight, just how much those effects haven't aged that well. But otherwise, I thought Brad Pitt in this was pretty solid. He was holding it down as best he could. He didn't have a character that had a large range of what he was doing, like emotion or anything like that. But he seems reactive. He seems like the coolest cat in the room, though, in terms of like, he's not panicking. He's the only person not panicking. And when he recognizes something's about to happen, he's like, okay, here's what we need to do. Right. He's very direct. So there you go. I don't know. That's my first take.
Okay. I will continue what I have identified as a downward trend with each person. I don't like it. I didn't like it. And I think a lot of it's because I didn't get invested in any of the characters. I don't really blame Brad Pitt's performance for this as much as I do the script. I just never felt that he was like actually dying to get back to his family or anything like that. It was just kind of like, oh, I have to leave my family, and then we don't think about the family again until the reunification at the end. So like that lack of investment kind of took me out of it a little bit. and then I just kind of see it as, yeah, this is another of a bunch of zombie movies that came out around this time when the genre was really popular. So like it's fine. When I don't like it, but I don't think it's a bad movie. It's just okay. It's not for me really. This was the second time I've seen it. First time since it came out. And yeah, I think you're right, David. The visual effects are off a little bit. I don't know the full details, but I know this movie had some production hell, and the budget got kind of out of control, and there were a lot of rewrites. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they had to go cheap on some of the effects because of that. There were some cool aspects of it though, like the zombie pyramids that they make to like climb walls and buildings and stuff. That's pretty neat. That is like, yeah, what ants do. And so it that gave me the heebie-jeebies because I've never seen that portrayed in a zombie movie before.
No, not like that quite.
No, not quite like that. Because I don't know that we've really seen this type of zombie movie that has the worldwide scale, you know?
Yeah.
So that's also a cool aspect. I've also never read the book, so I don't know anything about it other than it's kind of like it's like an oral history of a war
Yeah.
involving zombies.
Yeah, that's almost the exact title, is an oral history of the zombie war. And from what I've read about it, it very much reads like a series of reports from Jerry, from the main character Jerry, about these different things that he goes and sees. So it's not like written like a traditional like story like that. It's written as though for the perspective of somebody writing a report. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like it's supposed to look real.
Yeah.
But I do want I got to poke fun at my least favorite part, which is that ending. And
Yes.
I feel like you were hinting at it a little bit, David. The solution cannot be to inject the world with a deadly pathogen because they don't discuss how to solve that. One of the scientists is like,
Well-
we can't do that, and they're like, the hell we can, and then they just do.
Yeah. It
That
is
part
like,
was too much.
it
for
is
me.
like as Ruth Nega, who I love Ruth Nega, she's great in everything I've ever seen her in. As she says, I will give it points for creativity, but it sounds like a pretty insane thing to do because it's like, okay, I'm with you. They somehow, whatever it is that's infecting the people can recognize weakness, whether that's old age, terminal illness, or even minor injury, because they purposely ignored a soldier who had a limp. So they so it's like, okay, so how can we spread that to everybody? And I like that Brad Pitt's character says we get one that has like a low mortality rate. Like, well, so some people might die just to save themselves from not being zombies, but lowish. And I like that they list off some of the diseases that they have available. And I'm like, yeah, some of those sound good to have just to hide from zombies, but it's the part about getting rid of the zombies that's the hard part.
My thinking of it was they mention how it would be great to have our armies basically be invisible to the enemy, and I thought, yeah, but they're sick. You've made them ill. They're like, even if the mortality rate's low, you've made them sick, and now they're gonna go fight with H1N1. What are you talking about?
Which I think that's what they go with. I think they go with
country.
Well,
like I don't know how. Like they may be invisible, but I don't know how effective a fighter they'll be.
That's the thing. Is like, okay, the first person to try it is Brad Pitt. He just goes raw H1N1 or something, right? Sure. Not great. But I don't know if like the epilogue that's kind of playing as Brad Pitt's narration comes in was supposed to imply that doctors took the time, now that they had this information, to create a vaccine that within the host presents H1N1 but isn't fatal. Like that would be a potential solution, because then you can make it work. But I couldn't quite pick
That's
up
the
if that was what they were
implication.
getting for.
But I want more than that.
Well, it has no resolution, and like
it's just tied up a little quick.
Yeah, well, it's just like we have this movie, and you're done.
Well, and there's not really a resolution, because the point is the war continues on.
Yeah,
they keep fighting.
I just that's
I'm gonna be real. It don't look good for humanity.
No.
Even with that weird pathogen virus, like or vaccine. I don't think you're gonna make it.
I can't wait to hear a little later. We should talk about the attempt at a sequel because this movie very much ends with basically, by the way, we want to do a sequel.
Sure.
That's how the ending really feels.
You know, one thing for me, I'm a easy sucker for a zombie movie that does it well. There's a lot of zombie movies that don't do them well or they do them differently, but I like a zombie movie that is surrounded in kind of like a puzzle, and like this one is kind of like a puzzle. They are trying to find a way to solve that problem and find that vaccine. And I think the way that they go about it is an interesting way. Yeah, the story alone and the way that it's wrapped up on its own is not very well executed. For me, this movie excels and keeps me entertained based on the builds and the payoffs. Each individual build separately is quite good, and then it really hits the brakes hard each time. And I think that's where the pacing gets off. It's got that slow, and then it goes wham, and then it goes wham real quick each time. And it can throw you off if you're not into it. And I'm just into a zombie style movie like that.
That's understandable. And like I said, I don't think the movie falls into a territory of bad for me because I feel like everything, for the most part, everything they do well. Like there's no distracting performances that are bad. There's no just like, it's not like the pacing is so off or anything like that like I lost interest. I won't speak for the whole house over here, but it kept me going for the most part. And so I think, it's like best I could say is it's fine to good.
For me, it's a perfect movie to turn on the television and not have to pay much attention to and be able to enjoy it. Yep. It doesn't have to be great. It has to be enjoyable enough to watch it in the background of something.
But I feel like for me. I feel like for me, even just the title of the book implies like this incredible spectacle zombie film. World War Z sounds like this should be the be all end all of zombie films. And I just don't feel like it is. I feel Definitely like it doesn't live up to its own title very much.
It's just a very solid piece of movie zombie work. There's not anything wrong with it. It's just solid.
So you said that Garrett said that it was too long, like a tad bit too long.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what I have to say. I kind of wish this was longer. I really do think that this.
Yeah, Andrew, quick question though, Andrew. Did you watch the extended cut? Because I did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. We all watched the extended.
We wanted it to be longer.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the extended cut was only 7 minutes longer.
Okay,
I still feel like that was a lot.
I had wondered about that.
But
I double checked because I don't know the difference, so I wanted to see what was actually different. And basically, it was alternate takes of extended fight scenes and a little more CGI, and just they made it a little bloodier, is all.
Because the extended cut's only 2 hours and 3 minutes, which that's not that bad for runtime.
No, but
no, in theory, it's not.
No, so what were you? You wanted more fleshed out characters, Andrew?
I just wanted like a more, like, I just wanted better pacing, because I feel like we're just rushed into everything and we don't have any time. We don't have any time to process it all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I really do think this movie could actually be better as a miniseries. If they put it as a miniseries,
I don't even know if that was a joke or not. I don't think it was, but that was
well, Andrew hasn't been here. He doesn't know that I have.
But he was here last week,
needs to be a miniseries.
Right?
No. You were here for Bullet Train, but
wow,
that's Garrett's line. Andrew, I'm gonna resend you the script. That's Garrett's line. This should have been a miniseries. Because that's been Garrett's thing for the last 9 episodes is, make this a miniseries. And he's not wrong when he says it usually. It's just funny to me that every movie that's longer than 95 minutes suddenly needs to be a miniseries.
See, and I don't think I want this one to be shorter. I know that Andrew, because for me, this one, again, there's nothing out like home run about this movie. This movie is just a fun, enjoyable watch for me. And that is that's all I need from it.
Now,
I don't care about the characters. I don't care about the development. It's got fun action. It's got zombies attacking that are crazy and ruthless. They're climbing up the side of a mother effing wall like it's insane and crazy and just an enjoyable watch.
Now, Andrew, your line is, it reminded me of The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Well, it did kind of remind me of Dark Knight.
And at some point, I will bring up Zombieland.
I would just say, I do want to say a little bit about a comparison to Zombieland and some other zombie movies, just to say that my favorite zombie movies I like because the characters are good.
Yes.
The zombies are all the same in every zombie movie, but how the characters deal with it is what makes it interesting. And I think the fact that I just didn't care about them in this one.
Yeah.
But also, Andrew, I wanted to point out that if you made this a miniseries, it would just be The Walking Dead, and we already have that,
That's
Mhm.
true.
Interestingly,
which is also
The-
too long.
interestingly, the director or someone involved, one of the writers I'm reading here, said that the way they sort of envisioned it was if you combined the sort of tone and pacing of the Bourne Identity series with Walking Dead, Walking Dead zombie series, that zombie setting. That's kind of the two things coming together to create, this particular world. And
I don't think I got any Bourne out of that.
I can see the elements there because
He's not really a Bourne,
there's
Jason Bourne kind of guy.
No, but there's a kind of a shaky cam kind of component. There's a very real like it's very grounded. Like other than the fact that there are zombies around, it's all very like I work with the UN. We're in communication with the World Health Organization. These are like very real things, as opposed to Bullet Train, where it's just like nebulous assassin ring, or John Wick, or things like that, where there's, they're using real guns and they're fighting with real hands, but they're also like crazy ninja assassins that are 7'8". So that type of thing.
I like that in the poster that Andrew's got there as his background. Brad still found time to put his scarf on.
Yeah,
Gotta look good for the zombies.
That's his UN scarf.
His UN scarf.
The official UN scarf.
You don't get to know what he does. Just that he has a scarf and he works at the UN.
That was what I was trying to figure out, because from what I gathered, some sort of like UN military investigator, because they kept saying
something like that.
Your investigation in
and what does that have to do with now
Belarus or your
zombie
investigation
apocalypse
in Ethiopia and stuff like that? And I was like, okay, so like, is he like, he works for the UN, but he's an investigator, but he also has military training for that. So like, maybe he's like, I don't know, he's like some kind of like military police for the UN or something like that. I don't know. But we're deep enough in now that I feel like I can talk about my favorite and least favorite character of the movie. And that was the epidemiologist that went with Brad Pitt to South Korea. This guy is not in the movie for very long. He's ranting and raving on a battleship about what we got to do. They sent him on this plane. He goes ham on a metaphor about Mother Nature being a serial killer. Like, commit hard to this metaphor for ever. Brad Pitt, I think what happened was Brad Pitt's character Jerry referred to soldiers as hammers who only whenever they look at a situation they only see nails, which is a fun metaphor. And this guy's like, I got a metaphor for you. Mother Nature's a serial killer, and then just goes on like a 4-minute rant about it for a lot. Anyway, it very much I thought about it. He seemed happy to be like, he thought about it overnight. That was he wrote that speech beforehand. Then this dude straight up falls and shoots himself in the face. That's it.
You're not wrong.
He's a scientist. He's not a soldier.
They were starting to get off the plane. Some zombies came up. He turned around. He took the advice Brad Pitt gave him of keep your hand on the trigger a little too well. Shot himself in the head by accident. It was just such a comical end to such a strange character who was supposed to be like part hero. He's supposed to be like, at first I was like, okay, so it's this guy and Brad Pitt for the rest of the movie. Nope. Nope.
No, every person at each little it is like a little mini series within each thing. Each piece gives Brad Pitt one little piece of the puzzle that he puts together at the end and then solves the thing and then goes out and does everything. But yeah, that moment when he just falls down is amazing. It's one of those things that like whenever like, gosh, I'm trying to think of like a movie that does this. I mean, Bullet Train did this a little bit. Is like people trying to like in film capture the idea of bad luck, of like, like just horrible luck happening in zombie movies. People always have the worst luck. This is just one of those things. That was an interesting part of the movie for me. That was very funny.
Excuse me. So I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah.
What else?
All
Is
out.
there anything else that
Can
we
I-
want to talk about? Or are we ready to jump into the box office?
I want to talk about real quick the failed sequel, and then we can do that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, let's hear that.
they wanted to, so the movie, like you said, Josh, went through a bit of production hell. So before the movie released, they were like, we're probably not going to do a sequel for this. As we'll talk about in the box office in a minute, the movie did pretty well at the box office. So after release, they were like, sequel, let's do it. Paramount was all in. Let's do this. They had a director for a while, J.A. Bayona, who was going to be the director. Movie's going to come out in 2017. That fell through. J.A. Bayona moved on to something else. I think James Bond, wasn't he the director of Spectre or something? Can't remember. Anyhow.
Maybe.
No, that was Sam Mendes.
Oh, dang. Okay. So then in 2015, they start courting, guess who? David Fincher to be the director of World War Z 2.
I'm into that.
It took about 2 years, and I don't remember this part either. They got him. He signed on to direct World War Z 2 for a release date of July 2019. In June of 2018, they announced that in February of 2019, the film was canceled. A source quoted by the Hollywood Reporter said that the Chinese government's ban on films featuring zombies or ghosts was the single biggest reason Paramount canceled the sequel. So they were like, we can't make money in China with this anymore. Sorry, no zombie movie.
That's weak sauce, Paramount.
Yeah.
It is. That's too bad. Because even though I wasn't crazy about this, I don't know, like it just stinks for it to get canceled like that. But it took a lot for this movie to get made.
I don't want to see any movie canceled for political reasons. That's stupid.
The funny thing is, what I was reading, the first script that was ever written for this in 2007 was on the Blacklist. Have you guys heard of Hollywood's Blacklist for screenplays?
Yeah.
It was on there, and there was a bunch of film critics that were legitimately hyping it up. Like, if they make this script, we might be talking about a zombie film as Best Picture.
No.
Yeah.
Hype. That's BS.
They were talking about how this could be like. They were talking about how this script, if it's done right, could be like genre defining. Sorry, I've got.
Who said that? Some kid who's on TikTok.
That's what it says on Wikipedia.
Did Soup say that?
Pre TikTok. It was Ain't It Cool News. If you remember that.
I do remember.
Ain't It Cool News is still around. I don't.
They might be.
Anyway,
wow.
Those are just some things I wanted to throw out there.
The mess.
So where was I? Box office. Let's do the box office. Here we go. So World War Z opened up. Gosh, it feels like it was not that long ago, but World War Z opened up July 21st, 2013. June 21st, 2013. It finished number 2 that weekend. It brought in $66 million, 66.4. Only falling behind the also opening that weekend, Monsters University, which brought in 82.4. And number 3 that weekend was Man of Steel in its second week. At number 4, This Is the End, which brought in 13 million. And at number 5 was Now You See Me, the magician heist film.
Great movie. From what I remember.
It's actually, looking at it, a stacked weekend at the box office because Man of Steel, like I said, 41 million, World War Z 66, Monsters University 82. That's 3 movies making 40 million plus. That's a big weekend. That's a lot of people at the box office that week. World War Z would go on to make where was that number? World War Z would go on to make $202 million in the United States, 337 overseas, and for a worldwide total of 540 million. Garrett, I'm actually, in retrospect, really glad you picked this because I can talk about the fact that this is Brad Pitt's highest grossing film ever. In which he is the lead. Technically, Deadpool 2 is the highest grossing movie he's in, but
yeah, we wouldn't count that.
That's a cameo at best. But World War Z is his highest grossing movie, both worldwide and domestically, followed by Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Troy, and then Ocean's 11.
What an interesting list. Would not have expected.
People don't want to watch his good movies.
Hey, Ocean's 11's good.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right.
No, Troy is actually.
Troy, get that out of here.
I believe Troy is his highest grossing international.
And this, come on.
I was real close to picking that one because I thought it was going to be awful, and I really, really was close, but the runtime got me.
That movie is not good.
I like Troy. I don't care what anybody says.
You a
Um,
monster.
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
anyway, if we
Nothing
travel
says
back,
ancient Greece like Oklahoman Brad Pitt.
we travel back to 2013, and World War Z would finish as the number 13 movie at the U.S. box office, just behind Thor: The Dark World. At number 1 that year was The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. At number 2, you had Iron Man 3. At number 3, Frozen. And at number 4, Despicable Me 2. Rounding out the top 5 is Man of Steel. Some other movies from that year: Gravity, The Hobbit, Desolation of Smog. So that's like The Hobbit 2. Fast and Furious 6. So we were up to 6 by that point. The Croods. What else was on here? American Hustle. That was your Great Gatsby. So that's your box office stats for this week. You know, I was reading when at the beginning of the Wikipedia article, they talk about the film rights for the book, and the other big production company that was in competition for in the bidding war for the book rights or the film rights for this book was Leonardo DiCaprio's production company, Appian Way. Brad Pitt's production company ended up getting it. So it's interesting that they have competing production companies out there. Here's a little detail that I just realized. Yeah, because Bullet Train was too. Every Brad Pitt movie we've done has been a book adaptation.
What a weird accident.
Fight Club, Bullet Train, Assassination, and now World War Z. And if we get Moneyball, that's a book too. So we'll see what the fans
Yeah,
pick.
we'll talk about that next. But let's wrap up and do our rankings, guys.
Yeah,
Where do we think this falls on the box of letter?
I'm gonna guess that the Letterboxd viewers have rated this a 3.2.
I'm gonna guess an even 3.0.
I'm gonna go lower. I'm gonna go just barely. I'm gonna go 2.9. I don't think it's quite a 3.
I'm gonna go with 3.9. 1.
3.1. Okay, so we're covering the whole
These
range.
are the worst picks.
Covering the whole range. Well, I hope it's over 3.2 now.
Right? Okay.
I'm not getting it any lower. Huh?
I don't remember what everybody said, but we do have a direct hit, so it doesn't really matter. Andrew is taking this one with a 3.1.
3.1 direct.
3.1 for WWZ.
Way to go. Andrew comes in and swoops it on that one.
What do we think, boys? What do we got?
This is a.
I'll go first because I have a feeling. I'm gonna say it's a 3. I'm gonna just give it a solid 3. Which means it's tied with Fight Club for my ratings of these movies so far. But I am gonna put this in terms of the movies we've done at the bottom of the list. It's World War Z, then Fight Club, then Jesse James, then Bullet Club or Bullet Train.
I will also do 3.
Well, I'm gonna do 2.5.
I will back it up to a 3.
Oh, you're gonna 3 as well? I thought you'd be like a 3.5 or a 4.
No, this is a movie that I will enjoy one time every 9 years. It doesn't get better than that.
Right. I don't think if you're looking for a good zombie night, this isn't the worst one you could put on.
Yeah.
So, but that said, I think I don't know how many zombie movies we as a podcast have done, but I kind of feel like Train to Busan's a high mark that we're gonna have. That's gonna be
That's
tough
a great movie.
That was an incredible film. So like it's a high bar there, and then you got 2 more Zombielands that we've done. So I don't know. It's kind of hard. I don't know if we've done any other ones, but I
don't think so. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we'll be back.
Let's talk about next week
with our final Pick a Pit. Are we? I don't know if
we can announce it. I did the vote tallies. We asked on social media. I think Josh and I are the only ones that officially know. So this will be the revealing for everybody. We had several people vote. Our top 5 initial nominations were Moneyball, War Machine, Burn After Reading, Snatch, and The Tree of Life.
Oh.
And the winner is, what do you think? Do you guys have any guesses? Josh, you can't play, but what do you guys think?
Snatch.
I think
you said you voted for Snatch. You're a big Snatch fan. I've heard you talk about Snatch.
I think it's going to be either Moneyball or, hey, can you not yell at me, please, son? It's going to be either Moneyball or Burn After Reading.
You think Moneyball or Burn After Reading?
Yeah.
Okay. It is indeed Burn After Reading. The Coen brothers, correct? Andrew, I know you're not a fan of that one. I remember
Well, he's
loving it.
wrong.
I remember loving it. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm interested to see how it holds up.
Yeah, Brad Pitt. Isn't George Clooney in that?
George Clooney, John
Tilda Swinton?
Malkovich, Tilda Swinton.
There you go.
I forgot her name, but somebody else.
Brad Pitt,
Yeah.
Frances
That's a good one.
McDormand.
Frances McDormand, that's who it was.
Where's
Brad Pitt's in this movie.
It's in the Pick of Pits.
And also John Malkovich.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
So-
well,
Well, that's
I've
how
not
we're
seen
gonna. That's how we're ending Pick a Pit August. Which
Thanks everybody who voted.
I think it's
Thank
still.
you so much.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
still be August. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, thanks for voting in our fan pick, which we'll do next week. Burn After Reading. I'm excited to see it. Again,
Yeah.
I think it'll be fun.
I think so.
I
I'm
like
very
I like the
optimistic.
Coens. There's a couple Coen movies I don't like, but for the most part, I like them.
This is one that I know Andrew does not like at all, and I like it a lot. And we usually disagree on Coen Brothers movies.
Well,
'cause
we'll have to see.
So I think that it will be fine.
We'll have
Okay.
to see if Andrew, if you join that episode or not.
You know what?
You just let us know.
Yeah, and I've
You know what?
I've not seen it, so it's gonna be new for me.
Hmm.
I can
You
add
know
it
what?
to
I
my
think I will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you should. It should be a fun dynamic. then.
Yeah, especially if you still don't like it, because
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't think my mind will change. I'll be surprised if it does. And then David will be our fresh set of eyes.
fresh eyes. So
Okay, cool.
I'll see you next time. Sorry, I got a kid screaming at me. I may not be able to say goodbye here in a minute.
I'll take it. We're wrapping now anyway. Yeah, we'll take Jack's cue as your cue to go to so many sequels.com and subscribe to the show in the podcast app of your choice. You can also find our social media links there so you can follow us and vote in future polls that we might ask you all to do to weigh in on what
We have some great suggestions for upcoming months of
We do.
celebrities. We have some
2023 might be
great
lit.
Suggestions. Struzzer.
shout outs to him.
He knows what he did. He knows
Great
what he's
puns.
done.
So yeah, go find us there. We'll see you next time.